Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into a case that's honestly, well, it's as chilling as it is completely inexplicable. We're unpacking a true horror story that's going to seriously challenge how safe you feel in those perfectly ordinary, everyday places. We're looking at the terrifying case of Ronit. We'll break down the exact sequence of events that took a completely normal routine and twisted it into an absolute supernatural nightmare. So settle in, pay close attention to the details, and let's unravel this mystery together. Now, just think about this for a second. Have you ever felt like you weren't alone while waiting at a dark bus stop? You know the feeling, right? You're sitting there, maybe the streetlights are flickering a bit, the silence just feels heavy, and suddenly, the hairs on the back of your neck stand straight up. It's this incredibly primal fear, that creeping sensation that someone or something is watching you from the shadows. For most of us, thank goodness, it's just our imagination playing tricks on us. But for the subject of today's explainer, yeah, that feeling became a completely horrifying reality. Section 1. The Lonely Bus Stop. An ordinary evening turns dark. All right, so our story actually takes us to the state of Uttar Pradesh in India, and we're following a 15-year-old boy named Ronit. The timeline here starts off, honestly, super mundane. It's evening, his daily tuition classes just wrapped up, he packs his bag, walks over to his usual spot, and as nightfall sets in, he just sits down in the dark to wait for his bus. You know, just a regular day. It's completely quiet. But then, just moments later, that quiet is entirely shattered. Cutting right through the still night air, he hears this distinct, undeniable sound of someone crying. So he looks around, naturally, and spots where the sound is coming from. It's an old woman. She's sitting there completely alone at the bus stop, just sobbing into the night. Now, keep in mind, Ronit is only 15 years old, and he's got a really strong sense of empathy. Out of pure humanity, he just feels terrible seeing this elderly woman in such obvious distress. Without even a second thought about his own safety, because why would he? His instinct is literally just help, to offer some kind of comfort to a total stranger who so clearly needs it. So he decides to walk over and approach her. Section 2. A terrifying encounter. No good deed goes unpunished. Okay, so Ronit gently approaches this distressed woman. Seeing how upset she is, he kindly reaches out and offers her his very own water bottle. But she doesn't take it. She doesn't say thank you. Instead, the sobbing just stops. Instantly. It's like a switch flipped. This dead, incredibly heavy silence falls over them. Then, she slowly raises her head and just glares at him with this absolutely ice-cold intensity.
And then, she finally speaks. But she doesn't ask for help. She locks eyes with Ronit and demands, "Do you know where my husband is? Tell me now, or it won't be good for you." The shift in her tone here is just so unsettling. All that sadness, completely gone. It's totally replaced by this menacing, venomous threat directed at a teenage boy who literally has no idea who she even is. Understandably, Ronit instinctively takes a couple of steps back, probably thinking, okay, maybe this woman has just completely lost her mind.
But the woman doesn't just sit there. She rises up. And as she starts moving toward him, Ronit glances down, and his reality just completely fractures. Her feet, they're twisted. They're broken. And the craziest part, she isn't even walking. She is hovering. Her broken feet are literally floating a few inches above the ground. I mean, pure panic hits Ronit like a freight train here. He drops his water bottle right there on the pavement, turns on his heel, and just sprints as fast as humanly possible all the way home, his heart practically hammering out of his chest. Section 3. The 2 a.m. Awakening. The nightmare follows him home. So Ronit actually makes it home in one piece, desperately trying to rationalize what on earth he just saw. But guys, the horror didn't just stay at that bus stop. Fast forward a bit, it is exactly 2 a.m. The entire house is pitch black. Everyone is totally dead to the world. And suddenly, Ronit's sleep is violently interrupted. His eyes snap wide open. Because in the dead, quiet silence of his own bedroom, he hears it again. That exact same chilling sound. Someone is crying. And the absolutely terrifying part is, the sound isn't coming from outside the window. It is right there, inside his room. He slowly sits up in bed, his brain just completely struggling to process what he's looking at. Because sitting right there, right at the foot of his very own bed, is the exact same old woman from the bus stop. And you've got to look at what she's holding here. In her hands is the exact water bottle Ronit dropped while he was running away in a panic earlier. But the fresh water, it's gone. The bottle she's tightly gripping is now filled completely to the brim with thick,
dark blood. Before he can even get a scream out, the woman lunges at him. She crosses the length of the bed in an absolute instant, her terrifying, twisted face just inches from his own. Her hands clamp down tight around his throat, choking him, physically pinning him down to the mattress. She looks completely feral, like she's honestly about to eat him alive right then and there. And as she's suffocating him, she just keeps repeating this same horrifying accusation over and over again. She's claiming that Ronit is the one who murdered her husband.
Section 4. The unsolved mystery. The lingering trauma. Struggling for air and just completely terrified out of his mind, Ronit somehow manages to let out a scream at the very top of his lungs. The sound absolutely tears through the quiet house. Within seconds, his frantic parents burst right through the bedroom door. His dad's hand slams hard against a wall, flipping the light switch on. The room instantly floods with bright light, and in that exact split fraction of a second, the heavy weight is just gone from Ronit's chest. The woman vanishes instantly into thin air. There is literally no trace of her left. It's just Ronit hyperventilating and crying, leaving his poor parents completely bewildered by the whole thing. So you're probably wondering what happens next. Well, his parents, finding a totally empty room, naturally try to rationalize it. They basically dismiss the entire horrific ordeal as just a really, really bad nightmare. But for Ronit, the reality of what happened was deeply psychological and entirely permanent. He immediately quits his evening tuition classes, just outright stops going. For months afterward, he remains deeply traumatized, terrified of his own shadow, staying mostly withdrawn and silent. And to this very day, he has never, ever taken the route past that bus stop again. It's wild to think how a single, totally inexplicable supernatural event permanently altered a 15-year-old's entire life. And that leaves us with nothing but some deeply unsettling questions. I mean, who exactly was that floating woman crying in the dark? Why on earth did she latch onto a teenager who was literally just offering her some water? And honestly, perhaps the most terrifying question of all, why was she so absolutely convinced that a 15-year-old boy had murdered her husband? We might never actually get the answers to these, but it certainly makes you think twice about who or what might be waiting in the shadows the next time you find yourself standing alone at a dark bus stop.